Nordic American Tankers, ticker symbol NAT, 2026 oil tanker outlook. So I've been in this company for almost going on 2 years now, and I feel like we're finally seeing the fruits of the patience of the company's labor. And there's a lot of things going into place. And I want to go over a lot of the updates from December and January, and kind of just bring everything all together for 2026. Happy New Year to everyone. This is my first Nordic American Tankers video of the year. And a lot has happened, and a lot of exciting things have happened for this company. Last time you've seen me on this video, the stock was doing well, but it was still under $4. Well, today, January 29, 2026, the stock is now sitting at $4.22, which is over my oldest shares now. So I'm finally fully in the profit with all of my shares. And it's amazing to see now the thesis starting to play out a lot better. And so we're going to just, get into NAT. Their earnings report. Their next earnings date for Q4 is until late February, early March. So that's why I'm doing a video now, to get the outlook, the evaluation. And then when the earnings report happens, we have some context to work on and where we've been going. All right. Because that's still a little farther out. And so, man, there's a lot of things to start. So first, because it's just grand scheme of things for the oil world, is Trump announces U.S. military's capture of Maduro, the standing leader for Venezuela, Nicolas Maduro. It was in an overnight extraction. The military came in and got him. And so why is this important? Well, there's a lot of speculation on why they went in and why they captured Maduro. But one thing to really look at is Trump at least is looking at trying to get in and control Venezuela's oil reserves. And so Venezuela has the largest proved oil reserves in the world, right? And so that could be a heavy asset for us on the American side of things. On the Western side, if we have control over those assets, that could be a good thing. Now, on the side, the other side of the coin is, even though they have the largest proved oil reserves in the world, the oil is not of high quality. It's not like the Texas oil where it's almost ready for the gas pump, where it doesn't need a lot of refining. This oil, really sour, it would need a lot of refining, and it would cost a lot to get it out. But to have that available and have that in the news definitely has helped NAT for sure. And so we'll just go through some of Herb's. We'll go through some of Herb's investor notes, like investor PRs, and I know he brings up Venezuela as well. So I'm just going to go see if I can find that one. Yes, okay. So this is from December 12th, December 12th, Friday, 2025. Dear shareholders and investors, and this is Herb, below the recent spot picture showing a strong level of the market for our Suez Max tankers. There's a scarcity of vessels producing room for high rates and a number of approximations, all pictures to major oil companies. Yes, the TC rate's been crazy high. Amazing. It's been amazingly high, and they've just been very sticky at the peaks too, which is nice. Fixture for more than 40 days, time charter equivalent, TCE about $52,000 per day. Fixture about 33 days, TCE about $78,000 per day. Fixture 50-day voyage, $95,000 per day. Fixture 50 days, rate about $37,000 per day. $37,000 per day. Fixture voyage per 30 days, TC about $65,000 per day. The operating cost for our ships is $9,000 per day. So, I mean, a lot of margin. There's a lot of margin with where the oil TC tanker prices are right now, which is why I got in 2 years ago, because not only were they higher than normal then, they're even higher now. And then the supply for tankers is still low. Like the supply of tankers able to maneuver stuff is still low. which makes a nice little squeeze and keeps prices high. And then he brings up Venezuela. Venezuela is in focus. According to experts, Venezuela is about 70% of all oil reserves in the world. Our ships have not been in Venezuela for several years. The interest in Venezuela is probably the result of oil reserves in that country. And so this was December 12th, and Trump had news of the capture on January 3rd. So, I mean, I try not to listen to the crazy news too much. I try to keep up with financial news, but maybe they knew a smidge, you know, on the back end, right? And they're preparing. So that's a little bit interesting to think about. December 18, 2025, NAT has entered a firm agreement to sell 2 Suezmax tankers, 2004, 2005 built, net price $50 million, both vessels. So that happened. What happened on December 22nd, almost before Christmas. I of NAT today have bought 200,000 shares of NAT at 350. So we were at 350 the 22nd a month and a week ago. You know, we're up 70 cents then, bringing my total to 5.3 million shares. Simultaneously, my son, Alexander Hassan, vice chair, bought 200,000 at 350 as well, bringing his to 3.35 million. Following this transaction, our family collectively owns 10.65 million shares and have passed the 5% threshold, requiring the mandatory notifications to the market. And what I like about this is they've been buying shares for a long time. Like, this isn't news right now, them buying shares. They've been doing it consistently for a long time, at least since I've been in the stock. So not only have we been getting an outstanding dividend, share buyback with the family, and now to the point they have 5% ownership where they have to report. So there's even more transparency, right? So this stock is kind of a gem. In a lot of aspects, they're in Bermuda. So it's kind of like an international company, but they're under American ordinances. So there's no ADR fees. And that's why I'm really heavy into it. And I'll get into my investment real quick. But, you know, I like to do a lot of different valuations, but, you know, I like to get into, you know, book value, because book value, even though sometimes it's an older valuation's archaic, it still shows the bare bones structure of the company, right? And so their book value is when you take their total equity divided by the shares outstanding. So they have total equity of 461 million divided by their 211 million shares outstanding. So the book value of the company is $2.18, right? But you have to understand one thing is this is a heavily, there's a lot of liabilities with these type of companies. And, you know, that's not really accounting for future revenues, future valuations, right? So that's just pure bones without any oil, just pure, you know, assets liability is 218. And so that's why when shares were in the twos, right? That's why when shares were in the twos, that's why people should have been buying, right? That's why I was buying, because we were closer to the book value, even though we knew what the future held when we were at that point. And as I talked about, the dividend, so I'm generated on the 24th, right? I generated $81.93 of dividend from NAT because I had 654 shares at that point, so almost 82 bucks. I recently, because of the price increase, I recently took 54 shares. I sold 54 shares just to make it 600, and I took some of that money, which wasn't a full profit. It wasn't a real big profit at all. It was like 6% off those 54 shares, only a couple dollars, but I just reshifted my dividend portfolio a little bit, which is okay. I'm still getting a really premium dividend in a great company that's buying back shares. It's in a good spot. And then I want to bring up the just some gematria. USA handling Venezuela's oil helps NAT equals 137 in English ordinal, which is the 33rd prime. So you want to see that, right? You know, we don't necessarily know what the future holds and how America extracts the oil from Venezuela, if they ever do, or if there's ever going to be investment to a higher scale. But just that energy in mind, it will help the stock. And you already see that they are looking for avenues to potentially get back in. And this is even before the Maduro news. So overall, you know, I'm really happy with Nordic American Tankers. You know, I've been in it a long time. I'm a long-term shareholder, over a year, and I've made money. You know, I'm up right now 32% of my position still, up $620. I have, you know, I've had over I have over $2,000 of pure capital invested. And when you look at my total net worth and me having this in my side, it's a lot. You know, it's a risky play. I mean, if you don't know what you're doing, oil tankers, traditionally volatile, it's a risky play. But, you know, we're in it. I'm having a good time, and we're benefiting. So we'll double back on this and have some updates when the earnings report comes. So stay tuned for that. Make sure you subscribe to this channel, so when I do have that next video for earnings, when earnings comes, you'll be ready to see it. But let's just keep collecting that dividend, keep getting that money, and keep a high TCE rate.